Hi, hope you're having a great day. You're watching Entertainment, and for this video, I'm gonna go over the Scarlett Johansson versus Disney lawsuit once again. And in this case, I'm gonna cover it from a different perspective. And in this video, I'm going to cover it from the perspective of what happens if Disney wins this lawsuit. My first video that I covered this thing on was what happens if Scarlett Johansson wins the Disney versus Scarlett Johansson lawsuit. And in this one, I'm gonna do what happens if Disney wins the Scarlett Johansson versus Disney lawsuit. So it's definitely interesting, and I'm definitely gonna cover what impacts this has on the entertainment industry, which I definitely think that are very interesting and they're definitely very impactful. So you definitely want to watch the whole video so you see all the impacts in the entertainment industry. But first, please make sure to leave a like. I would very much appreciate it. It would be very much helpful. And if you end up enjoying the video or you end up finding it informative, definitely make sure to leave a like. As well, subscribe for a lot more videos like this, a lot of analysis videos, a lot of business thing videos. I think you'll definitely enjoy my videos if you do enjoy that. So definitely make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of those videos. As well as comment down below which side are you in. Are you on Scarlett Johansson's side or on Disney's side in this lawsuit? I'm curious to hear different people's perspectives, so let me tell me that down in the comments down below. Okay, now let's get started. So, as you all know, this lawsuit from Scarlett Johansson versus Disney comes from Scarlett Johansson filing a lawsuit against Disney over them breaking the contract for Black Widow and putting it on Premier Access as well as on theatrical, which was not part of the contract, and this led to her earning significantly less money than she should have, which is what she's fighting for. So, which is very, very interesting to see how this results. I don't know who's going to win. And my previous video, like I said earlier, I did cover what happens if Scarlett Johansson wins, so you could definitely check that out. But for this video, I want to cover the different result, and that is what happens if Disney wins. So yeah, let's get started with the impact that this will have in the entertainment industry. Okay, so the first thing that I think will happen is there will be no more delays on the Disney movies. This includes movies like Eternals, Encanto, The Kingsman, the Deepwater movie, and so much more. Even the Pixar Turning Red movie, which is pretty far away, but we don't know how this COVID situation is going to keep going. I don't think these movies are going to get delayed at all anymore. I think they're just going to put them in Disney Plus Premier Access if they need to when the theater situation is still really bad. They're definitely testing out if they can just put it in theaters with the upcoming movie Free Guy and Shang-Chi. But if they can't just sustain on theaters, then they would definitely do a premiere date and date release access. I don't think they're going to keep delaying them. It's just not working for them. They had to keep making money. So that's why I think there will be no more delays. And since they will win, well, that means that they can now tell that to their talent, being like, you can't fight us because we already won this case. And it would be the same result with your case. So they would for sure end up doing more premiere access, which is crucial. There was going to be more premiere access for sure if they do end up winning. Whether it's the pandemic or not, I do think that they're going to keep doing premiere access, especially if they win, because they can now fight the talent, saying that if they want to sue them, this will be the same result that they're going to get. So it's pretty interesting to know that. However, there is one exception to this delay rule, and that might be Spider-Man No Way Home, and maybe even Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, simply because Spider-Man No Way Home is a Sony-ish movie, so they can't move it without Sony's permission, or they can't do a date-and-date release date without Sony's permission, and I doubt that they will want to, especially since that movie seems to have the potential to actually get $1 billion to the box office, so that movie might get delayed back so they can make more money. Same thing goes for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. That movie might get delayed if the theater situation is still really bad, simply because that movie seems to have the potential to make $1 billion, and I'm sure they definitely don't want to lose that. So those are the few exceptions, but the other movies, they will definitely go to Premier Access if the theater situation is still bad, and if not, they'll just end up in theaters like always. But now they will have this case to fight the talent, saying we have the right to move your movie to Disney Plus Premier Access, and they can't push back because it's true. They would have won the case if they in the case that they would have won this lawsuit. So it's very interesting to hear. So yeah, we'll definitely get more Premier Access and no more delays. So what other ways will the Disney winning result impact the entertainment industry? Well, there will for sure be a lot more streaming releases for theatrical movies from other studios. This includes studios like Universal, Warner Brothers, Peacock, Paramount, which actually is already doing it with the Patrol, the dog movie, that will come out in Paramount Plus and on theaters date and date. And maybe Universal will join that list after doing it with Boss TV. They might want to keep moving movies like that, and so on and so on. So I definitely think that there will be a lot more streaming releases, especially if Disney wins, because now they will feel safe that they can do it without being scared that the channel will sue them for breaking the deals or for not paying them as much as they may should have won if the movie had come out theatrically, which is very, very interesting to know. As we're seeing with Warner Brothers, which had a lot of problems at the start, but it didn't get to the legal stage. This will definitely prevent any other case from mostly getting to the legal stage. And this is really, really serious, unless it's like straight up in the contract. then maybe it will go to legal case. But most of the times now, especially if Disney wins, no more cases from talent or stuff like that will go to the cases, simply because they know that they're going to lose. And studios will use this to their advantage, and they will release more theatrical movies on their streaming services, so boost up subscribers, boost up viewerships, and the talent just can't do anything about it, which is very interesting to know. And it's a very, very, very aggressive result for the studios to use against their talent, which I'm sure talent would not appreciate. So that would suck. And this would also maybe clear up even the Dune problem, with Legendary wanting to sue Warner Brothers for putting Dune there, and the filmmaker themselves wanting to sue Warner Brothers for putting Dune on HBO Max, or for wanting to put Dune. It's technically not out yet, but for trying to put Dune on HBO Max. They're trying to sue them, and I think that won't follow through, simply if Disney wins, because we're going to see the result of that already, and it's just going to be wasting money for the filmmaker and for Legendary themselves. So they probably would just see that money, just shut up, and then let their movie play on HBO Max, and maybe complain a little bit, but they wouldn't sue them. But if this result does go towards Disney, keep in mind that if we went to Scarlett Johansson, it would be a completely different story, and I already had that video. But if this went to Disney, then yeah, that would case would for sure be resolved, and Legendary and the filmmaker of Dune would definitely not sue Warner Brothers if Disney wins. Okay, as I said earlier, there will be no more stars that will sue, which is another huge result. It's just they already know they will lose. They don't need any. They don't want to lose any money on lawyers and everything, and maybe this whole drama to try to sue a studio if they already know they're going to lose. So that definitely will not go on. Okay, what else do I think this will impact? Well, there will for sure be new and more specific contracts. There has to be new and more specific contracts, so simply just to prevent this from ever happening again. I did talk about this in my What Happens if Scarlett Johansson Wins, and I talked about how these contracts will for sure now specify that, yeah, now this movie has a chance to go on premiere on date and date release date with streaming services. This is what your pay will be in case that does happen. Or this movie has no chance of going to a streaming service. It will for sure be theatrically no matter what. You know, those type of contracts that would definitely have to be made from now on, because if not, then this is just going to be a mess in Hollywood. So I definitely think they're going to make those more specific contracts from here to the rest of Hollywood, just in case something ever like this happens again, which is super cool and super interesting. But this is way better to have backup plans for the stars, so they can feel satisfied with what they're getting paid, and to know what they're signing up to, instead of just like getting surprised that their movies are surprisingly now just going to streaming service. No, at least now they will know what they're getting into, which is great. So definitely, I think there will be new and more specific contracts that will benefit both sides, the studios and the actors. And these contracts will definitely specify whether your movie has a chance to go to a streaming service, and if it does, then they will say a backup plan there that says, okay, if your movie does come to a streaming service, this is how much we would pay you. Or they would say your movie has no chance, like I said earlier, no chance of going to streaming service. It will only be theatrically, which, like I said, I think it's great. So that's another impact that the Disney winning result will get on the entertainment industry. Okay, on my last video, a huge part of the video was dedicated to Bob Chapek, since it is his fault that this whole thing got as messy as it did. It got public, and it's terrible for Disney, and the stock has gone down and everything, and it's all because of Bob Chapek, because he didn't let Marvel pay Scarlett Johansson what she was asking of, which was her money, to be fair. And so yeah, so what effect would this have on Bob Chapek? Well, regardless of the result of the lawsuit, Bob Chapek will without a doubt still end up losing power over Disney, because he let this whole drama get up to the point which is definitely not what shareholders at Disney want, and they would definitely want to take power away from him. Now, I do think the result of the lawsuit will matter to how much power Bob Chapek loses over at Disney. So, what happens if Disney wins the lawsuit? How much power will Bob Chapek lose? Well, for sure less power will be lost. In fact, if they do win, Bob Chapek might actually end up staying as CEO of Disney, which is already a huge win for him. But, exclamation on the but, he will lose power as a CEO. I think the main power he will lose control over is the payments of different studios such as Marvel, Star Wars, and maybe even Pixar. This is because in the case of Marvel, they could really not pay Scarlett for the money from Premier Access, because Disney didn't allow it, even though Marvel wanted to, really bad. So I definitely think that the power will be taken away in order to ease out the differences between different studios and Disney, especially between Marvel and Disney, with this whole lawsuit and any differences that this whole lawsuit could have caused, again, between Disney and Marvel. I definitely think that Bob Chapek will lose the power over how Disney decides to, how Marvel decides to pay their talent to ease out those differences that were probably caused by this lawsuit. He could also lose the power to choose where movies would debut, such as change a movie from theatrical to a day-and-day premiere access, like Black Widow and Cruella, or to just move a movie to Disney Plus, like Luca and Soul. I think this is way more likely to happen if Disney lost than if they went, since, like I said earlier, I think if they went, they would try to keep doing a bunch of premiere access to keep growing the streaming service. But it's still a chance that Bob Chapek might lose the power to be able to decide, and they might lend it up to the studios themselves, such as Marvel and Pixar and so on, and Star Wars and so on and so on and so on. So yeah, that's how I think this will happen. I'm not entirely sure, but I definitely think that Bob Chapek will lose less power than if they do end up losing. But I do think that he's still gonna lose a lot of power. So that's good, because it was his fault that this whole mess got in the first place, and hopefully this lets him be able to listen to his studios more, such as Marvel, Pixar, which have been clamoring for them not to mess with the movies and not to mess with the business, because it's being terrible for them as a studio. And thankfully to this lawsuit, I do think that this might actually happen regardless of the result. And that will be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you found it informative. If you did, please leave a like. I would very much appreciate it. So please leave a like. As well as subscribe to get a lot more content like this. A lot more content. As well as especially if you want more analysis videos and stuff like that. I do a lot of those type of videos. So definitely make sure to subscribe so you can get a lot of content like this. And also, if you end up enjoying movies like Suicide Squad, or you want coverage on Marvel's What If, then subscribe, because I'm covering both a lot this week. So definitely subscribe so you don't miss any of those videos. For Suicide Squad, I'm going to do pitch for spin-offs for each character, not for each character, but for some characters of Suicide Squad. And for Marvel's What If, I'm probably going to do a breakdown. I'm not entirely sure, but I would definitely do a video on the episodes of What If. So if you want content like that, definitely also make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it at all. So yeah, and make sure to comment down below what you think of these repercussions about Disney wins, and if you think Disney will win or they will lose. Not whether you want them to win or lose, if you think that Disney will win or lose. I'm very curious to hear what you think will happen and what you want to happen, and if you think these repercussions are fair. So yeah, definitely tell me that all down in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and this is Entertainment out.